goodness.
Everybody, let's go ahead and get started. I know we have a couple people that have meetings after. And Jarvis has had a flat tire, so we're hoping that he's going to get here. But he's notified us that it's a lot. It's hot out there to be having a flat tire. Okay.
But he said we could call him in for during the elections.
Okay, all right. We have a quorum. Keith, Katie.
Kate.
Yay!
Oh my God.
Give him water. Give him water. Give him water. Get some ice water, something. Oh, bless your heart.
What a day.
Thank you for being here. That's what I was just explaining to them. Ice water. That's great. Okay, well, Jarvis, I was doing the roll call. Jarvis, Kate.
Present.
And Nazine. Okay. So pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that the decisions of the Nashville Public Library may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. I don't think we have anyone here for public comment. Did anybody sign up? No? Okay. Well, let's move on to, I have very little today. I did write down just two things. I want to thank everybody who came to the Carnegie event. That was so much fun. At the library the other night, it was packed. I know my book club had read The Personal Librarian, and she was so good. She was just so good, the documentation. But just want to thank you all for putting that on for us. I don't know if anybody else has any comment that they would want to say, but just thank you to everybody for being there and all of the board members for being there. And then just to remind everyone, this afternoon, you know that Councilmember Gadd has done the resolution to honor the library, and anyone who can be there, want to make sure that we're there by, you said 5:15, is that what we want you? 5:15, we need to be there. Now, I thought that we were wearing red. Because
you are doing the right yes.
I missed the map.
I remember my instructions, and so we want to, if you can, wear red. Put on some red lipstick or something. Anyway, I'm just kidding. So anyway, regardless of whether you wear red or not, we really do need to have everybody there so we can take pictures. And Travis, you got your tie? Because if not, we come get you.
Okay.
We'll come get you if we need to do that. And
On that, Joyce.
yes.
There will be free parking provided in the public square parking garage. So if you park there, you can park on L2 or L3. And then you take the stairs or elevator to L1, and that's where you would enter the courthouse. So hope you can be there, and we'd like to gather at 5:15 to do a photo. So it would be great if you can be there by then.
So we gather inside or outside?
Inside.
At the courthouse inside. So we're
Right
in air
past the
conditioning
security.
at 5:15. Okay. Thank you so much. We know that a couple people, let's do the approval of minutes. If we have, I hope you all had the opportunity to look at the minutes. Are there any additions, corrections? If not, I need a motion for approval.
So move.
Second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Because a couple people have to leave while we have make sure we have a quorum, we would like to put up the elections, if that's okay with you? Sure. If you ought to do that, go ahead and do that. Okay. So, I think that, I don't know how you all want to do this.
Do you want to take one position at a time?
Take one
That's what you
position,
did last
okay,
year.
let's take one position at a time. And so which you want to go from chair to vice chair to secretary? Is that okay?
Sure.
So,
I nominate Joyce for chair.
and I can't do that then, I can't.
Well,
So Kate will have to,
Oh,
you have to
yeah.
go.
Do I hear a second? Okay, nominated by Jarvis, seconded by Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposition, in opposition? Overwhelmingly, Joyce is selected as chair. Congratulations, Joyce.
Thank you for your vote of
Congratulations.
confidence. Thank you. Okay, next office is vice chair. Any nomination?
I'll nominate Katie as vice chair.
Second.
Okay, Katie has been nominated and seconded to be our vice chair. Any other nominations? All in favor of Katie? Yeah.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. And then, so I'll open the floor for the position as secretary. Any nominations?
I would like to nominate Jarvis as secretary.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I'll second it.
Okay. All those, any other nominations? All in favor of Jarvis Rand for board secretary?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, Travis is elected.
Yay.
Thank you so much, thank you so much. Okay, so let's go back to Terry, back where we were.
okay, so I'm going to keep mine short because since people need to leave, and I spent a large amount of time talking at the Edge Hill branch. So I'll go ahead. First of all, I want Annie to be able to introduce you to the Bellevue branch and to her, but I'll get to that second. The first thing I wanted to just make sure, because we're going to have a presentation by the SEIU, which I welcome them having the opportunity to be able to talk with you. However, I don't know, I want to make sure that you have some information about open range versus step. And Susan's here, so I'm going to start out, and then she can always add or correct me if I'm wrong, because this is not my area of expertise, but I've learned a great deal about this over the last year. So we have both open range positions and we have step positions. So employees are in those. And what happens with that is those are civil service compensated on, if you're on an open range salary grade, there is a minimum and a maximum. So employees may be compensated anywhere within that range, subject to provisions in the open range policy. However, the library system has to have the funds to be able to make those changes, because once we make those, they are permanent. So even though we might have vacancies this year in our budget, that means that once we add those funds, then they are going to continue even into next year or the next year when we may not have those vacancies. In open range, what the library system has done over the past, and it's been years, that department they have an opportunity and they decide within open range, are you going to, normally what we get is 3%, July 1, to give employees 3% for each employee. And so we have not chosen to do a matrix where if somebody gets a 2.1 and somebody else gets a 3, that one person gets 1%, the other person can then get 4%. Because what we know is we are a very large department, and EPPRs and evaluations are subject to the person and the supervisor that's actually doing that evaluation. So in our minds, as a leadership team, it ultimately comes to me. We have left that at the 3% over the last 2 years. So then with STEP, when an employee is on a STEP plan, they receive a pay increase every year for the first 5 years, and then they receive an increase every 2 years for the next 5 years. So just wanting to make sure, and Susan, you can add, that you knew the difference when Kyle is talking about open range versus STEP. Anything else you want to add? Okay. All right. So the next thing on my part of my report is I want to introduce Annie Herlocker. Annie is our new regional manager that has come from the Bordeaux Library. She was there for over 2 years. And then prior to that, she was the branch manager at Richland Park. She asked for an internal transfer to come to Bellevue. Of course, she did that before we had the flood. So, but all that to say that I hope that you'll have a chance to look around today, because there are still some end panels and the front desk that we're waiting for. But kudos to Susan and her staff, Jennifer, working with General Services. We have made some really wonderful improvements here. And I think the biggest thing that you notice is the openness if you've been here before. Of course, we have hard floor surfaces, but in my mind, it's just an open feeling and a lot more sit-down spaces for our customers. So Annie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, so hopefully this will be a brief presentation. I'm going to take you from the day of our flood.
It's on, but.
Let me move it a little. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the mic. So hopefully this will be a brief presentation from day of flood through our progress opening. We are fully open today. So on January 8th, I'm still at Bordeaux. I get a bit of a panic call from a staff member at Bellevue. They've come to the branch at 8:30 a.m. For the beginning of their shift, and they're greeted by water. So you can see how far the water spread. So this is along this back window right behind me, and the water started in the women's public restroom and went all the way to the back. There's another picture. In this picture, you can kind of see where by touching any of the wooden end caps, that wood just soaked it up osmosis, so it ruined anything that was wood, lots of furniture. Final picture here. This is the room that we're in right now. That received quite a bit of flooding. So while it's not several inches deep, it's widespread and the damage is immediately done. Over the course of those first couple hours, I didn't even realize how much damage it was, and it was sort of the slow realization that it was really not good. That's where emergency game plan came. And it very much felt like this, these math equations in your head and everything was going, and we've got to decide what all the next steps are. This is where I think COVID prepared us well as a system, and it's where all of our NPL departments really shined working together. And it's a very interesting start to come into a branch as the new manager, and right away it's a flood, but we worked through it. So right away we assessed logistics and involved a lot of meetings, reassigning immediately all of our 19 Bellevue staff to other branches, and I tried to do that with assessing need, any areas that were short-staffed in mind throughout our branch system. That went from a 1-week reassignment quickly to a until further notice assignment. So there were 2 reassignments. We met with Jennifer Fournier, Susan Dry, shared systems. Angela Brady, who was helping at the time co-manage the Bellevue branch, Jenna Schmidt, Marcom, to check in and establish next steps. Also General Services, Jennifer Fournier was our contact for General Services. Our focus at that point was on the staff and also customer service to the patrons, messaging, establishing long-term staff reassignments based on staffing need, maintaining services during the closure. What do we have at our disposal? What can we do even though we don't have the physical building? Our closure estimates at that time, that first week, were a moving target. So it was make this decision, and then it snowballs into another decision. Meanwhile, immediately General Services hopped in. They had a lot of people assigned to this job. Immediate steps were mitigating the water. So removing the floor, bringing in those industrial dehumidifiers that you see, those blue things, and then the drywall, because everything that water touched, as soon as it touches a material, it just soaks upward. So you can see in this second photo here, about 4 feet of drywall in all of the primary areas, and it's completely seamless, done really well, but all of that drywall had to be immediately removed. This was before, so this would have been first week, and this is before any shelving or books can be removed. It's just dealing with the mitigation. And then here is the teen room, and so they're scraping up those carpet tiles, again, to just remove the moisture from the building in every way possible, as quickly as possible. This is what this enormous building looks like when there is no flooring, no shelving, no books, no furniture. And this is just the back wall right behind me. So that was all happening in that first week or two after, and behind the scenes, this is what's going on. So programming during our 3-month closure, and we talked a lot with staff about silver linings, and I think programming became a huge silver lining out of this. During the entire 3-month closure, 78 library outreach events. I say outreach, some of them that were actually done in other NPL branches, 3,181 in attendance. And so that is our library staff at Bellevue just being given a directive and just boom, out of the gate, making it work. Silver lining out of that, 5 new outreach connections were made. So we were doing programs staff were doing programs at YMCA, 50 Forward, the Bellevue Community Center, getting into the middle school next door, getting into the YMCA daycare, and getting into making a lot of new connections that now we get to keep and continue to move forward. Many of our regular adult programming events just continued. They just found a way. Our staff is phenomenal. And our middle schoolers who even submitted Lib Answers tickets to some of our teen librarians, like, we miss you. They were able to get into the middle school and do a weekly outreach, which was really sweet. They really miss their staff here, truly. More silver linings. Jennifer Fournier worked with Bellevue staff for input into revising circulation, teen, adult, and children's spaces. So you can see a lot of our changes today, but going forward into the next 6 months, as furniture arrives, shelving arrives, new layouts get fully cemented, you'll see a lot of changes. They were able to work together. Jennifer Fournier set up a lot of meetings with staff and facilitated a lot of feedback, and we were able to make a lot of positive changes. Improvements to our collection as well, browsability. The teen collection was removed from teen room to create more room for the teens and to make our collection browsable to all ages. Staff also, by way of being reassigned to other branches, they had a real chance to network with other teams, bring out all those cool ideas back. We take them back here, and just get to know a different area of the city, which is great because we were really so far out. So silver linings all around. Just to give a few brief numbers, 64,000. That's the estimated number of items the day of the flood that were on our shelves that had to be fully removed by Flood Brothers, taken to offsite storage, as well as all of the furniture and shelving. It's an enormous collection. 985, that's the number of patron holds that were on our hold shelf that had to almost immediately be moved to the Green Hills Library to pick up for roughly 529 Bellevue patrons that would be served at Green Hills, with very short notice to Heidi, I must say. So, yeah. Yes. Lots of logistics that go into this one single slide. Estimated 9,000, it was a little bit less. This number was tricky to find, but this is the number of items on the Green Hills hold shelves for our Bellevue patrons that processed through the closure. So we had 2 full-time staff members, circulation assistants, reassigned to Green Hills to help with that overflow and to help manage it, and to have some familiar faces for our Green Hills patrons, or our Bellevue patrons at Green Hills. Another 9,000, close to an estimated number of Bellevue-owned collection items that were then returned during the closure to different branches. So that's anything that was currently already checked out at the time of the flood. That all has to come back. So those came back to different branches, but we had to find somewhere to house those. So thankfully, we have access to the Donaldson basement. That really helped us out. So did Donaldson staff, Marcia, Ryan. They made it work. All of that was happening while we were planning for curbside and putting together a temporary desk and all of this and all of the logistics. We ended up in our 3-week run of curbside serving 814 patrons and delivering 4,000 plus items from the collection. And a little bit more math here. So you have those 64,000 items from the collection, those 9,000 returns from Donaldson basement. Those all have to come back to the library. So Flood Brothers installed the shelving and put the books back. But what we noticed is because we also changed the arrangement, and with a project this large, you're going to have some things, hiccups along the way. Staff shifted, and then they shifted again, and then they reshifted the entirety of the collection. They wanted it to be just right. This was our chance to really change it a little bit. They did all of this during our 3-week curbside run to get everything just right. That full month of March essentially was spent getting everything back into place so it would be ready for reopening. So coming soon, I think we've talked a little bit about this, but we'll have a completely new circulation and combined reference desk. This is an image of what it will look like. Our teen collection is fully moved to the public area with more seating coming soon for the teen area. Additional holds, adult AV, and adult fiction shelving will be on its way. Shelving is about a 5 to 6 month back order. All new LED lights. General Services finished an LED light project installation. It's like thousands of lights in this building. 4 additional work desks in the circulation workroom, which we call the back circ workroom. New teen and children's service desks will be coming soon. And we were able to make some changes to the staff workroom to create more workspace, which has been some feedback from staff, my understanding is, for several years. So we're able to kind of take the time to work through that and Jennifer solicited all the feedback from staff. And then what's next? Well, this is my second full day of just Bellevue manager and Bellevue cluster. So I'm excited for what's next. I'm excited to work with this staff. They're phenomenal. All of our Bellevue programming was up and running the very first day of reopening, April 1st. In the coming months, we'll establish and continue to evolve our programming, our outreach, our customer service vision, which is so important for the Bellevue branch, to make sure it's in line with NPL's mission. And we're currently working on a branch merchandising plan for our collection, uploading, scheduling, and communication to our shared teams module, and just discussing our scheduling goals. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. I just want to,
No books were damaged. Furniture and end caps, flooring, that was the damage. Yeah.
Were you directing this operation from Bordeaux? I mean, who was sort of,
yeah. So
in
one
charge?
so Keith, one of the things I wanted to acknowledge is this was really and truly an incredible team effort, because Annie was still at Bordeaux. Susan and Jennifer were working with General Services because we don't manage this facility. So that added another layer. General Services staff was absolutely incredible. And then Jenna was also trying to coordinate with Annie, and then, of course, Heidi at Green Hills. That there are so many pieces of all this that it was really such a great group effort. Susan?
I do want to say thank you to General Services, because it was a disaster with the water, but they afforded us the opportunity to make some changes. Since we were having to do it anyway, they listened to our suggestions and they allowed us to make some of these changes.
That's excellent.
So we really appreciate
And they were here like I mean, their
They were here
reaction
within
time
hours.
saved us from even more drywall or more damage that could have been done. It was really impressive. The other thing I wanted to acknowledge while Annie is here is that Annie was gracious enough when she did ask for the internal transfer. It was right after the shooting at the Bordeaux branch. And so in order for us to provide some consistency and for that staff, she actually stayed from all the way back in August to now coming. And I'm sure she thought she was never going to get over here. But I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. Yeah.
And yeah, just another shout out to General Services. They were wonderful to work with, the entire team. Shared Systems, Marcom, Susan's department, Jennifer Fournier, Donaldson, Green Hills. There were so many people that had to be involved in this large scale of a project. And it would not have worked if
head of
there
General
was not that skill.
Now it's Gerald. He's just came in from, it was Velvet Hunter who was the interim. And now Gerald came in from outside. And he and I are meeting on Thursday.
Okay.
So
I'd love
I believe
to.
it's Smith
You
too,
know,
but
often we
it's Smith.
criticize
Okay.
And say what's not going, uh-oh.
And I want to say just thank you to Bellevue staff as well, because throughout this process, there were so many moving targets, so many unknowns, multiple schedule changes, changes of home branches, hiccups along the way, and they did a really great job of pulling together and making it work with that continual eye on service and customer service. It was awesome.
Annie, thank you. I mean, it just attests to your leadership. I mean, people turned on the dime, flexibility, and still being innovative, you know? So thank you, Susan. Thank you. And Terry, I know, I mean, it just goes to how well you all are working together to the team, I think. And if, I would love to, if you would get us the information, write a note to General Services.
Yep.
We often criticize what government doesn't do. I'd love to let them know. Thanks, them.
Yeah, thank you. And the last thing, oh, sorry, Keith, go
Especially
ahead.
Okay.
those
No,
type of
go ahead.
departments.
I just
Especially
wanted-
those type
Andy,
of
did-
departments that are
Sorry.
behind the scenes that
Yeah.
really don't get recognized that much. Because general services is really not a customer-facing type of department. So I look at it like a marching band. They're the drum beats. They keep everything on step to keep us going, so.
And they were on site within an hour to shut that water off and
Keith?
started work right away.
Keith was next.
I'm just wondering, since this is your second day here, you said, do you live in the Bellevue area?
No, I live between Madison Branch and Goodlettsville Branch, kind of equidistant in that area.
Is there an effort, I mean, I know it would be really difficult to have branch managers live in the neighborhood where they, you know, in the area where their branch is, but do they?
Oh, sorry, I was noticing that the other staff was coming in, Keith. So, you know, we actually hire not based on them being close to their location, because when those vacancies come up, it's not like, you know, Annie's been here and then Madison vacancy, we haven't had a vacancy at Madison. And so it would be nice if you could do that. But I think a lot of the regional managers actually look at the library, the staff, the programming. Annie's really has such a great, I mean, she's really great in a lot of ways, but one of her strengths is that she does well in volume. And so, I mean, she proved that at Richland Park when you have, you know, 7 staff members in this tiny little place doing the circulation of outdoing the regionals in some cases. And so for us, it's really, it would be nice if we could do that, but we don't always have the opportunity to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not making a statement.
Yeah, no.
The other question, Andy, would you just tell us how long you've been in the system and what your progression through the system has been?
Sure. I came in, I had been assistant director in Clarksville Public Library, and then I came into NPL as branch manager at Richland Park in 2016. I've been here about 8 years, so I was at Richland Park about 5 years. Then I moved up to regional manager at Bordeaux, just shy of 3 years or 2 3/4, something like that. And then now I'm at Bellevue. So,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to push us on then to Sean, because I know we got a work our way down to this resolution too. Oh,
Okay, sorry, the other
Okay,
thing is
okay,
we're
I'm sorry.
waiting for this next, under new business. We probably want to move some things up
That's
because
right.
we're waiting for one more, for a couple
Okay.
of folks to come.
Okay, well, do you all,
We have Sean's report.
do we need to do this resolution?
I
Do we
think
need a quorum before I know that.
That's a good point.
Nadine
had to go.
said early that she has to go make a presentation at Vanderbilt, so I appreciate her coming. But do you mind, Sean? Okay, so let's move up the collection development part, Lee, okay?
Sure, if everyone can please turn to page 44 in your packet while Noelle Rutherford comes up. She's going to tell you a little bit about the collections management policy that she and the materials management team worked on, and she and I discussed, and then the admin team had input on. The full policy starts on page 46, and then on page 60 are the key revisions, which I believe Noelle is going to focus on today. Noelle has worked in the system for a really long time. I know at least 16 years. It may go farther back than that. I was talking about how long you've been in the system.
Oh,
17 years.
well, thank you.
And as such, over 17 years, we have revised our collection development policy many times. Materials Management Committee looks at it every year. We look at new collections. We look at revisions that need to be made versus what's going on around the rest of the country. And I think it's getting fine-tuned better and better every year. So I'm going to take you through some of these changes. Some of them are fairly minor. Others are a little bit more important. One of them is actually the change of the title. We decided in the committee that it shouldn't just be a collection development policy, it should be a collection development and management policy. Because truthfully, if you look at the word development, that's when you first create a collection. But a lot of the policy is talking about how we manage that collection. And there's a lot of aspects of it, including weeding and requests for reconsideration and donations, and how do we choose when we sunset a collection and start a new one, that we thought really were more of a management aspect. So we did change the title. The other thing that we did under independently published material, we had, for some reason, the actual publication names, and some of them have actually died since, and we realized we don't need that in a policy. We need
Sorry,
a little
Noelle.
more overarching.
Noelle's on page 60, so if you're looking
Yeah.
at, like, there's yellow highlighted
They're all
parts.
highlighted, hopefully to
Yeah,
make
so
it
I just
easier
want
for
to
you
make
to
sure.
follow.
Yeah.
Because
If you
it's a
wanna
fairly
follow.
large policy. Thank you. So we did propose to change that wording a bit, and the reason is it's really not necessary to mention specific publications in the policy document itself. That's more of a procedural thing. And sometimes these publications do go out of business. Under gifts and donations, we did change the wording. We want to make sure that we're accepting donations for items that we are still actively circulating and adding to. So, for example, we don't take VHS tapes anymore. We don't take music LPs. You'd be surprised, we do get them sometimes. And, you know, we wanted to make sure that these are things that we are actively supporting. We don't really actively buy audio CDs or music LPs. We buy a few audio CDs upon request by specific title, but we aren't really actively creating that collection anymore as we've gone to a more digital environment. Magazines, newspapers, we make sure that we don't accept gift subscriptions because they're very hard to manage. We don't know when they start, when they end, who donated them, when will, you know, it just gets a bit of mess. We also want to make sure that all these are in new condition. Yes, we do get some things that would kind of surprise you. The biggest change is going to be under the request for reconsideration process. And the reason we've had this under discussion a lot is, you know, there's a lot in the news about requests for reconsiderations rising a little bit nationwide. We want to be a little proactive and make sure that we have a very clear policy. I was at PLA recently. Actually, Kent Oliver spoke about the same thing in his session, that you need a very clear policy that delineates who can put in the requests, how often they can put in the requests, and what is the process for these requests. And so we went through this with a fine-tooth comb. The last 2 requests for reconsideration we had were from out-of-county users. And we already had a board-approved policy saying they needed to be Davidson County residents, but we hadn't really, you know, we'd still answered those requests for reconsideration. But we do want to make sure that they reiterate in there that that is for Davidson County users. They actually do pay for the library. They support the library. We're collecting for Davidson County users. So when we do our collection profiles, we're looking for those users. And as you know, we can have users that go up as high as Kentucky. So we want to keep it within our jurisdiction. And we also wanted to be careful that we're not inundated with multiple requests. It does take a lot of staff time to respond to these and to do so in a very fair and equitable manner. So we wanted to limit how many from one organization or one customer at a time. So those are the changes in the policy. Any questions?
Any questions, Katie?
Question, have you seen a change in the profile of the books that are requested to be reconsidered?
Yes. I would say that there's a little more emphasis on LGBTQIA.
Okay.
And before Noelle finishes, I just want to say that with her experience at NPL over the last 17 years, she is looked at across, I mean, in terms of across the country. She's asked to speak on panels at the American Library Association, Public Library. She's asked to present at Public Library Association. So I do want to acknowledge, like Lee said, you know, she has that experience, but people do appreciate her experience. So thank you, Noelle.
Thanks, Noelle.
You're welcome.
Can I just ask you one other question? Where do books go to die? I mean, like for example, this is the hot book. There'll be a hot book, and you have many people on the waiting list, and then the next thing comes out, and you
I
don't
know.
have anybody wanting those books. What do you
That's
do
why
with all
we
this
have
stuff?
Better World Books.
You have what?
We have a contract with Better World Books.
Uh-huh.
They will sell our books online. They will also, they're a nonprofit and a literacy organization. They will sell them and ship them around the country, and they pay for the shipment, so that saves the library quite a bit of money. We get 25% of the proceeds that go back into our Ingram book account. They also ship them for free over to Africa. They have a lot of nonprofits over there because we don't like to see waste, that if these are books that would fit the profile, the needs of the country they're doing business with over there. I know Kyle sort of manages that now, yeah. But I started it years and years and years ago because I don't like waste.
Okay.
Now, if they're in very, very bad condition, we will recycle them,
Okay.
yeah. But that's what we try and do to lessen the waste. We know things as they come in, some things have to go out.
So what's your pleasure on collection, development, and management policy update? I need a motion.
You need a motion to accept the
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, do we?
So moved.
Excuse me, there is one other policy related to collections and special collections that actually didn't make it onto the agenda, but we're coupling them together. And we have Chinadu, the manager of special collections, so he oversees the civil rights room
Okay.
and the votes for women, reports to Jenna, but he's going to speak on that a bit
Okay.
as well. And I believe
Thank
there was
you.
an insert that was added.
Oh, we didn't see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was stapled to the back, right?
Okay, thank you.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so for those of you who may not know me, I am Chinedu Amefula. I'm the library manager for Special Collections Division at Main Branch. So What I'm going to present to you is what we made changes to the collection policy, specifically to the Special Collections Division. And what I did was just extrapolate out some of the main key points that were changed. So number one was how we collect, what we collect, and who we collect it from. So the approach I took upon my arrival is more Tennessee-centric and/or Nashville-specific resources. We went more towards historic Nashville material, so things like Coven High School, so on and so forth, or like local oral histories. We also implemented collections, we implemented a collections review committee. So what that means is collections that are presented to us that we may want to collect, that goes through a collection review committee. New collections added. We implemented the Judge Martha Craig Daughtry collection, which we call AKA the Votes Women's collection, that is currently in the Votes Women's room.
AKA what?
Votes for Women's collection. We inducted a Lasky collection, which has to do with nature and birds, and also the wheel or Weil. I never know how to pronounce it. I think it's wheel. But and lastly, we processed the donation process. So what that means is potential donations, they have to go through an acquisitions team. We vote on it, how we're going to use it, what's going to be the audience that the collection will be used towards. So we have the acquisitions team, and we also have a specific donor to special collections relationship. So previously, before I got here, there was too many steps that needed to be taken for a collection to be considered part of our collection. Right now, for donors, they communicate directly to the Special Collections Division. We review it through the acquisitions team, the review committee, and then we decide whether we want to procure that or not. That's pretty much it.
Excellent.
So any questions about that?
Questions, anybody? With no questions, Kate, we are, now need a motion to accept the updates to the collection development and management policy update and collection development possible special collections. So moved. Okay, so moved, Kate. Need a second?
Second.
Any additional questions? All in favor? Say aye. All opposed? Thank you. Thank you so much. This takes a lot of work.
It
I know we
does.
just did this fast, but, I mean, this took a lot of work, so we recognize that. Thank you. All right, Sean.
Joyce, before Sean starts, I want to just acknowledge the fact that what is going to happen tonight at the council meeting has not happened before. And, you know, again, under her leadership before Kent left, he asked her to do advocacy. And I just have to say that on Friday, I was late at Maine, and Reed, one of the staff members, had all of the council member envelopes spread out in the boardroom. It was so incredible. I cannot wait for you. They've taken pictures of some of the actual cards, but from children, it just resonated. Every single council member has at least 15 notes in their packet. The mayor has 68, 63, something like that. But just want to say that I just really appreciate the fact that, that they've taken all this time to put this together tonight, and for Councilmember Gadd to put together the resolution to acknowledge library staff. So it feels really good. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. And it's really a team effort on our team. Amy Renegar led the charge, but then we had Christy Graham and Reed were all very much a part of the effort. So hope many of you can come out tonight. Just to give you a little taste, as Terry said, we had 732 notes written to the council members and the mayor, and they will all be delivered tonight at the council meeting. And just an example, an MNPS student said, "The library means everything to me. I care about it so much." And then we have, Keith, you can see here, but in all kinds of handwriting, all different people are, thank you, Hadley Park Library, for raising me and letting me have a safe space for the 5-year-old me. Just, there's a lot of very touching messages. City Council, the teen room of the Nashville Public Library is the greatest invention since agriculture. Keep them alive, and thanks for all you're doing. And then it's signed by one of our team. I'll just read one more. Let's see. The library has always been, the library has always been a special place for me and continues to instill comfort even during times I feel are just plain bad. Council members, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to safely be in this building. You guys are amazing. Please know that you at least have one fan, me. So I think the efforts, and I know many of you wrote notes, so again, just appreciate that. And as Terry said, we've never done this thankathon before, and I want to give kudos to Paige Clancy. If you don't know Paige, you'll meet her tonight. The thankathon idea was her idea, and as a volunteer, she has given a lot of time to make this happen. We had setups in several of the branches last week that we encourage patrons to write notes as they came through. Just excited to see kind of what will take place. Also, if you get a chance to thank Councilmember Gadd, this also tonight was her idea, and I talked with her last week, and she said, being a new council member, she's like, I've learned a lot, and next year, if you want to do it next year, she said, we can make it, it will be a lot smoother even next year. So she is on board and a true advocate for the library. Last week it was Library Awareness Week, and so there were several key days last week. We had a Library Giving Day. A part of that, we asked people to not just make a donation, but share your story of a library worker. Similar to these, we've got some very touching cards or messages from patrons who just appreciate the library. The wonderful depth of the ebook collection was a lifesaver during the lockdown, and I continue to use it weekly. I love the ease of the website. Another one, I grew up with NPL and rekindled my love this past year, going multiple times a week, checking out audiobooks and even volunteering. It is my safe space. I love how the library is inherently inclusive space where access to information is equitable. And I think, this speaks even to what you saw or what you heard from Annie in the sense of how just capable and also collaborative the library teams are. And that is very much experienced by the customers and our patrons who have a chance to give back. Shout out just to the library team for all the great work, because it makes our fundraising efforts so much easier when people are having all these great experiences. I mentioned at our last meeting, Picnic with the Library, we're 2 weeks out. So if you would like to participate, we still have some picnic baskets to sell. So we would love for you to consider joining us Sunday, April 28th, 4 to 7 at the main library. Normally we're in the courtyard. We will not be obviously this year, but should be a great experience. The theme is Wizard of Oz, and so you will be following the Yellow Brick Road and experiencing different parts of the library. And then lastly, probably from now for a while, every meeting you will hear a little bit of a fundraising update on Begin Bright, our early literacy initiative. We are busy in the season of now. We've prioritized our asks, and so we are beginning, and we've already started those asks. It's going very well. And I just want to put out there that we will be coming back to you all probably next meeting just to present to you some proposal around naming opportunities because we are anticipating having some pretty significant donors and want to make sure that we are able to offer to them naming opportunities if it's appropriate. And so there's only been 2 times in the history of the current Main building, so in the past 20-ish years. One was with the opening of Main, where we named several places, and if you walk through Main, you'll see plaques throughout the building. And then we also had a big campaign, the Write the Next Chapter campaign, 2010 to 2015, where we also received generous gift from donors, and there are plaques up that share that. So no, in future meetings, we will be presenting some opportunities that we would like you to consider.
May I follow up on that for just a second? I don't know that I have a question per se, but thank you actually for bringing this up and for giving people time, all of us, time to think about it. It's clear that when we do something that big, if we get, let's just say, if we get a bigger gift than we've ever gotten, I think we would want to, say thank you in a visible way. But I also think that it's something that Terry and the administrative team have to talk through and have their input into, as well as I think it's something that the board needs to have input into. And so I feel like it's a slippery slope when you start naming things, you know what I mean? Because this person's important and that person's important and all that kind of thing. So it is a slippery slope. But I also think it's an important way that we as a library can thank people who give so much. So I applaud that the foundation is putting a lot of thought into it. And whatever you all come up with, we're all going to want to look at it and all going to want to kind of put our hands on it. And I think that's fair and right. But that's all.
Thank you.
Sean, one of the other things I wanted to say is that, I think with Councilmember Gadd, it was very intentional that some of the new council members, we actually met, it was, Sean and Paige and Carlos, and we met with her out at Richland Park. And so that immediately created a really, good connection. And she loves the library. And I think, that was one of the reasons she wanted to do this for the staff. So that's another advocacy.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you so much. So regarding the board retreat. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Terry's helping me up here. I'm going back to, I had not crossed that off my list, and I should have. Wishing Chair Productions. Everybody here, I see. Linda. Thank you all for coming. Linda.
Good afternoon. I arrived in Nashville 25 years ago, and my first friend was Elise Adler. And Elise and I quickly formed this relationship around music. We both love music. I love to sing, she loves to play the piano, but she's shy about playing the piano. And I was just about to forge ahead to start singing jazz publicly in Nashville. And we would sneak into the auditorium at Ben West, and I'd give her a song and she'd learn it, and I'd sing it. And one day, someone walked into the auditorium and started singing along with me. And I was like, where's this voice coming from? And it was Brian Hall. It was my first time meeting him. And from that moment on, whenever he'd come through the building, whenever he'd see me, he had this warmth and this infectious personality that just drew me in. And we became friends. And there is nothing that I can ask of you that you wouldn't do for me. And there's nothing that you can ask of me within my power that I wouldn't do. You placed us on the map. That wasn't an easy job to do. You love from the depth of your heart. And anyone that comes in contact with you, they instantly feel it. And so I want to say personally, as your friend of 25 years, how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. I miss you. I miss you coming through Maine and stopping by the office, and as I all the time greet you, "Hey, famous Brian," and you go, "Oh, me." Miss those days. We all miss you. We all value you. And on behalf of the entire education and literacy team, our library board, the Nashville Public Library, the Nashville Public Library Foundation, we want you to know how very, very special you are. And NPL would not be NPL without your contributions. And with that said, we'd like to present you with something.
Oh, my goodness, that's outrageous.
You need to look at the back.
I need to look at the back.
Yeah.
Oh, look, and it has the Professor UV Sharp. Holy smokes, and there's Cedric. Oh, my gosh.
No, you're not speechless. Come on.
I am speechless. That's outrageous. That's incredible. Look at this incredible team. I defy you to find any better group anywhere. Holy smokes.
And Brian, just so you know, the cabinet that's outside of the children's room, there is Brett and the team. Brett, are you going to talk about it? Okay, good. Sorry, then I'll be quiet.
This is incredible. This is beyond anything. Smokes. Outrageous. And I had some cute little notes. And my apologies to the puppeteers.
We're not going to play you off. This is not
Okay,
awesome.
all right. I'll try to keep it short. They had to listen to my stories for 25 years. And one more time, kids, I have a couple stories to tell. So it was Evelyn that said I should put them all on an iPod and set it on shuffle. I've heard these stories so many times. But there's a story, I don't know if any of you folks know this. When I first started working at the library, I was in a meeting back in 1997, and we were asked, what book inspired you when you were a child? And I said, well, I don't remember the title of the book. I was in first grade. I kept checking this book out of the library, and I would draw the pictures from it. And I still remember the cover, and I can still draw the cover. But I can't remember the name of it. And then when we finally moved to the new main library, Sue Poulter said to me, that book, it had a dragon sniffing a flower on the cover. She said, was that Sir Patches and the Dragon? I said, yes, that is the book. And she said, do you know who wrote that book? Tom Tishner.
Oh!
I know, outrageous. Yes, well. And this, I can't get over this. Whew. Well, I always said it's a job I couldn't wait to get in to do, and I hated to leave. And it went on for 25 years. I could never have given myself such a wonderful job. I would have thought it was impossible. It gave me validation. It gave us freedom to create. You wouldn't get that anywhere. You just don't get that. But we did here, and it was welcomed, and it was because of the support of the library and the foundation and all the stuff we were able to do, all the friends we made, the collaborations that we had with not just the ballet and the symphony, but Sister Cities and Country Music Hall of Fame and String City, which we all know, all came out of this. And the puppet festivals and the friends that we made through puppet festivals, to this day, people still talk about them. And when I would tell people about them and my job at the library, they would just look at me like, what? How do you get to do that? It's really a special and remarkable thing. So I want to thank National Public Library and the board, always supporting the foundation, always supporting, always, and that's how we are able to do these things. And this incredible team of talented performers. Again, you won't find them anywhere. Also, you know, I would also like to point out Mary. We should honor her as well. You know, Pete and I were doing our thing for a while there, and then Mary came in, and everything went way up here, and she was the one that really was like, I was like, oh, you know, that's pretty good, you know. And she's like, no, it can be better, it can be better. And to this day, we're creating new shows and working and everything together. We're married. I don't know. and so we're continuing this, which would have never been possible without this 25 years at the library, being allowed to create, being allowed to fail, being allowed to figure things out. And so I can't thank you any more. But I have one more story, and I think this is sort of the encapsulation of it. Through Sister Cities, Pete and I went to France. We went to Caen. And we did a number of school shows and all sorts of things. This exchange. And after one of the school shows, this little girl came up to me and tried to speak to me in English. And she didn't know English very well, and I didn't know French very well. But her teacher ran over and started translating so we could have this conversation. And then the school buses pulled up, and the little girl kept yelling, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And the teacher whipped around and grabbed my arm really hard and said, these are very special children, and left. And the next day, we had lunch with the head of schools, who said, I got a report on my desk that you spoke to a child, a young girl after the puppet show. And I said, oh, yes. And I'd completely forgotten about it. And he said, well, that was a class of mentally and emotionally challenged children, and she never spoke at home, and she never spoke at school, and now she is talking, and they can't get her to stop talking. What happened during the puppet show that made her want to talk? And this is a story, these are stories that they are happening all the time, only we're not hearing about it. We only heard about it because we had lunch with this guy, or we would have had no idea. And just for that moment was worth 25 years at the library. So again, thank you all very, very much. I'm deeply honored. Thank you.
Do you know this? Brian, thank you for being a countless advocate and supporter and connector to children. Thank you for being a friend to countless organizations throughout the city. Thank you for hot gluing, sewing, building, painting with everyone here and those that are not present today. And so that our friends can know about the friend that we have in you. Something has been established outside of the theater as a tribute, as a thank you, so that as the generations, as the library carries on, they will know about a friend.
Credit cards.
That's right. They will know about a friend that we have, they have, that made the library what it is. And if you will, roll that beautiful video.
What? There's more?
Just as Tom Tishner has a permanent display outside of the Children's Theater, you now have a permanent display that will showcase, and we can, through our tours, our guests, our visitors, answer the question about the professor and his time at the Nashville Public Library. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. I'm amazed I was able to say anything at all. I had to barrel through, right, Mary? That's what you would say. It's barrel through story time. We're just going to barrel through. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
And thank you. On behalf of the board, we want to thank you too. I'm laughing because you're forever immortalized with all black hair too. You see that? But we cannot thank you enough. Cannot thank you enough, because your work goes on for generations. I'm thinking about my own grandchild. She'll forever remember what she came to see.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Anybody? I don't know if we don't have much time, but.
Greetings when I would see Brian is, it was the pleasantries, how are you? Good, good. And he would always say, no matter what was going on, it's all good here. And I just think he embodied that the library was all good, and just am really grateful for that.
Well, I hate to go on to the next thing, but I would just say this, and so this will be fast. I think what we need to do probably is, I don't know if you doodle poll everybody to figure out when we meet for the retreat. I think that's given travels and all of that kind of thing. You said some dates, let's have people respond on the doodle poll or something like that, so that we can find out which dates are best. Because if we talk about it here, it'd be another 30 minutes. And then I want you to know that I have asked Rosalind Carpenter to assist Terry and the staff, Terry, with planning this retreat. When I do board training, I always like to remind board people that you wear two hats. One is policymaker, but when you work when you work with staff, you have to know that you're volunteering, so you put on a different hat. And so I've asked Rosa to put on her volunteer hat, and she's gonna be working with Terry, just as now the dean is wearing her volunteer hat to work with Terry, because you all have such a diverse talents here, and want to make sure we use those talents. So that's it on the board retreat. And so Kyle, see, I'm trying to make, stop. Yeah, yes. Okay, Kyle.
Okay.
Go ahead. They're going on a donation call, so we
Right.
can.
Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Library Director, thank you for this opportunity to address the board. My name is Kyle Cook. I'm one of the shop stewards representing our library workers. We want to bring up a concern about the library associate pay. Metro Human Resources is proposing moving these positions of the library associate, the librarian 1, and librarian 2 into the open range status. And open range allows the employers to award raises based on subjective performance evaluations. And the STEP plan has clearly defined pay schedule based on successful years of service. And these jobs have always been on the STEP pay plan. And our union has historically opposed moving the jobs to the open range compensation plans. But we are not opposing this change for one major reason. Since July 2023, our library associates have been working under pay disparity imposed on them through the last pay plan designed by the Metro Human Resources during the last fiscal year. In the library, there are two job titles that perform the same duties, the library associates and the program specialists. The program specialists do not require a college education and are paid as at the open range position. The library associates, on the other hand, do require a bachelor's degree, and they are paid on the STEP plan. Under the current pay plan, the program specialist starting salary is $48,700. The library associates on a STEP 2, which have anywhere from 2 to 5 years experience in the system, make $47,800 per year, which is $900 less than the starting pay of the program associates. Specialists, sorry. There are several locations where a veteran librarian associate find themselves working for less pay than the new program specialist they're helping train. Several times over the course of the past year, we've requested that the library make an equity adjustment to correct the pay disparity, but we were told there is not enough money in the library budget to cover it. Metro HR is proposing moving all the professional library positions to open range, which most employees are not comfortable with, but we will not oppose the change if this can lead to a correction of this disparity. Metro is not offering us any other solution. Metro HR also touts the open range as a way to solve equity issues. And in that case, we request that the library administration look at making our library associates whole and compensate them at higher rates so that they can get this back pay that they're due.
I want to thank you for coming today. I think will you get in a second? Go ahead. Go.
So with this change, and thank you for presenting this information, based off Metro's recommendation, will this affect the head count?
No, this wouldn't change the staffing levels.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for that question. And thank you for coming to explain that. I think that the board always wants to be in a position of knowledge. This has allowed us to, figure this is one of the areas that we don't deal with that much. And so I think today with you and you, just to understand what the difference is between open range and STEP has been very valuable for us. I think that the other thing that we up against is a lot of this is done by Metro HR, and it has to, it involves civil service and all of that. And it involves trying to figure out budget and council and what becomes fixed costs. And so we have to think about all of that, although the other issue is once the budget is set by Metro Council, it's not a lot we can do. But I I still think that the board always needs to be in a position of advocacy for the staff. This may be like a systemic issue, sounds like, that we figure out how to, somehow work with, bring it to the attention of Metro HR and work with that. And I'm sure that the library team can figure out how to have us do that and to make consideration for what the union is concerned about. I just want to thank you. Kate?
So does Metro HR do the scenario analysis of what it looks like in the short term under each of these different frameworks? There's a short-term implication and there's a long-term implication.
Metro HR is responsible for presenting to the Civil Service Board. This is what the pay plan is. This is what we recommend. It's up to the Civil Service Board whether they pass it or not. For example, last year, Metro HR requested, or the mayor requested, a 4% COLA. Civil Service came back and said, no, we want a 6. So then Metro has to figure out where the money's coming from. Same thing with positions. So as Terry said, when you're making a pay increase, whether it's Metro pay plan or if it's us as a department, it has to be a permanent fix. It can't be from savings. It has to be a permanent raise. And there's just not a lot of funding for that. With them not opposing them going to step increases, if civil service approves it, then there will be funding to make that happen because that's a part of the pay plan. So hopefully it'll pass. Hopefully the library associates will be on the same pay grade, pay scale as the program specialist. So.
The only other thing I'll add is that we have to also remember that while it is the library associates that are bringing forward, there are other positions throughout the library system, whether it is a security guard. Our current security guards actually make $4,000 less than a circulation assistant. And so then we lose those folks to go be circulation assistants because of that. So part of our dilemma is we want to address those. The issue is it's not just the library associates where there is that, that we have to look at. So.
Looking at all of the positions, and again, as I say, looking systemically at the whole thing, because you still have to figure out if you increase positions, you have to figure out where it's all coming from, because that going forward will always be fixed costs.
So the Civil Service Board is the decision maker, if you will.
Along with the mayor's proposed budget and council approving of that budget and civil service making recommendations as well, yes. Once things are approved, then Metro has to figure out the funding. So, yes.
So do you have an opportunity to talk to the Civil Service Board about HR in general within the library, within this department of Metro government?
We do go to civil service when there's a particular, like last year, we were there when there was the proposal for moving the library associates and the librarians up to open range instead of step. So yes, we are there when that happens. The other thing to think about is when we're talking about creating that for the library associates, then that money then is also, we have to take that away from other people in order to do that. So it's not like we get, if they say we get 3% across the board, normally we do 3% for everyone. If we don't do that and we, try to work to bring the associates to a certain place, that means that someone else is going to get less than the 3%, if that.
There's only a finite pot of money.
Okay.
So.
So basically what, turn this back on. I think it's an opportunity, I want to say, to look at, because you always examine how you get better, how you keep employees over the long term. And I think it's an opportunity for key leadership to look at it. And again, I keep saying, I think it needs to be brought to the attention of Metro HR too, because it's not just the library.
Yeah, I bet you that. It's not just the library.
And the other,
And we always want quality people to work for the city.
the other thing that the library system didn't have any control over was there was a program specialist 1 and a program specialist 2. And then they collapsed that to be a program specialist 2. So that's where it ended up creating the library associates being not up to what the program specialists were.
And we had no control over that.
So again, I want to thank you for bringing that to the attention of the board. I know we learned something today, and it just helps us be better. And I think as we talk to, Metro Council people, I know it will help us to articulate what we need and what we need to support the employees and our unionized employees in the library. So thank you.
Thanks,
That's the
Kyle.
last thing on the agenda, and so I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
It requires no second. We are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you all for coming.